Today, let's dig into some political theory. Our video assignment for this week was to watch The Problem with Scale. The big question here is, has America gotten too big? How do we determine if our mindsets need to change when it comes to our country going forward? What it really boils down to is that somewhere along the way, we have forgotten the true meaning of the word republic. And before we can make any changes to our country and our mindset, we need to understand political theory. So what do I mean by big? Basically, big encapsulates two elements, population and geographic size. The three political philosophers I will be delving into today are Aristotle, Hobbes, and Montesquieu, and all three had some interesting things to say about big and small political communities. Now, all three of them believed that the size of the political community determines its ability to stay united, protect its citizens, and preserve liberty. And these elements were of vital importance to the sustainability of that community. For Aristotle, the ideal unit is the polis. It is small enough for citizens to share a common moral life. In a small community, citizens better perceive the common good and share common virtue. They possess a strong civic unity, making justice easier to administer. And human beings flourish in face-to-face communities built for living well. However, small communities did pose their problems according to Aristotle. If a community became too small, it could not be self-sufficient and be vulnerable to outside forces. Large communities provided the necessities for the good life and a greater defensive capability. Yet, if a political community became too large, it would lose cohesion, virtue, and the ability to deliberate together. Essentially, you lose the shared understanding needed for justice and the good life. Hobbes argues that communities can't protect people. Small communities cannot protect people. Without a powerful common authority, life becomes solitary, poor, nasty, brutish, and short. According to Hobbes, while small communities allow for basic cooperation in family and kin groups, they are extremely vulnerable because minor changes in numbers shift the military balance, and eventually we will fall into a state of nature in which we have no industry, no arts, no navigation, and no peace. Contrary to Aristotle's theory, Hobbes believed that a large commonwealth with a single sovereign ends chaos, allowing industry, law, and peace to flourish. However, in order for this type of large political community to work, there must be an absolute unified power and a subject liberty is only what the sovereign omits to regulate. Finally, Montesquieu takes Aristotle's concerns about virtue and Hobbes's concerns about power, and then says small states retain the republican virtue where citizens can better understand and witness the common good. But republican liberty survives only in small, homogeneous republics. Therefore, civic virtue declines as states grow, dismantling classical republicanism, making the large states vulnerable to tyrannical monarchy or despotism. Essentially, what large states need, according to Montesquieu, is a strong executive to protect its citizens from destructive forces from within. Each thinker emphasizes a different priority. Aristotle focuses on a shared virtue, Hobbes on security, and Montesquieu on republican liberty. And in the end, the right size of government depends on what you value most: unity, security, or liberty. See y'all next time. Bye.